and welcome to my version of the real news. How's everybody going? Is everybody feeling the tension and frustration of this new moon arising? Alrighty, so there's going to be a new moon in Gemini tonight, Melbourne time at about 10 p.m. And the aspects are the Sun, the Moon, and Venus all in Gemini at 16 degrees. Now, this is also the North Node of Venus. And this is also screwing out to Saturn. But anyway, let's just look at the aspect of the new moon. So this is happening on Venus's North Node. So not only is it a new monthly cycle for the moon, it's also a new cycle for Venus and Venus's star point. So this is all about new beginnings, but the frustration is coming along with a square to Saturn, and Saturn is like the taskmaster, restrictions, like it's like commitment. It's like, is this the right thing for you? And it's also like we're all kind of, wanting things to move along. There's all this energy of the new. We want to go into this new direction now that we've decided to go in the new direction, but things are going, things are at a halt, or they're going too slow, or there's just a lot of frustration and tension coming about in the world and, within the people in our lives, in our situations. So things are a little bit intense. It's not like on an extreme level, but the frustration and tension is out there, especially because Mars is also squaring Pluto. So Pluto is like, can be quite ruthless, especially when it's square to Mars. Mars is our direction, it's our desires, and it's, in conflict with our desires. So there is a bit of tension going on. Things can be a little bit frustrating. But I just think the message of right now is Gemini, so I'm just going to quickly look at the aspects. So the ruler of this new moon is Mercury. And Mercury is at 6 degrees of Gemini. So Mercury rules Gemini. So it's the mind, it's the way that we learn. And it's making an aspect out to Pluto also. And it's also in a wide conjunction with Jupiter. So it's really, okay, if we think about it, Gemini is like non-conventional. It's very, what would you say, non-conformist. Pluto's also very, like a non-conformist as well. And especially in, Aquarius is like the master of non-conforming. So this is very much this energy of, don't tell me what to do. I'm just going to go my own way, and especially if the way you're being told what to do is in a very aggressive way, in a disrespectful way. This is very much a time where you're just going to throw things off and just be like, nah, I'm not working with you. So yeah, it is a bit of a frustrating time, but there's a lot of beautiful aspects and there's a lot of like frustrating aspects at the same time. But it's really about integrating new information, heading into a new direction and spreading our knowledge. Hey Greg, how you going? I can do a card for you at the end of the video if you would still like one. Oh yeah, and if anybody would like a card at the end of the reading, I'm happy to get a tarot card for you. Anyway, back to this. So we're really kind of getting into where we need to let go of the old program. There's so much information coming in, because if we think about like this aspect out to Pluto from Mercury, if we think about it, Aquarius is like the scientist and Gemini is like the student. So it's a time where we need to learn new information, get rid of the old program, update our software. Don't be like me and have an iPhone that never gets updated. The joys of being a conspiracy theorist. But, it is really a time where we need to be updating our software. Don't take my iPhone advice. But it's a time, updating our software, looking at things from a higher perspective, like a bird's eye view, and gathering, accepting this knowledge and integrating it in our day-to-day learning, our day-to-day life, which is what Gemini is all about. So, and it's also Neptune's also making sextiles out to Pluto and Mercury at this time as well. So we're really having to also integrate the spiritual aspect, the spiritual lessons, the ending of the way things were, the patterns that we used to have. So this new moon is definitely about moving forward, all this information and direction and energy to move forward. But then there's also that square to Saturn, which is just like, are you serious about this decision? Like, you need to commit and, you know, figure out first if it's going to work for you. And this is especially going to affect relationships because Venus is in the mix. You know, we're going to be asking ourselves, is this the right relationship? If it is the right relationship, we need to commit on a more serious level. We need to put in 100% because we can't just fluff around and have it as like a placeholder until something better comes along. It has to be something that we're choosing that is the right relationship for us, or the right job for us, or the right way we want to make money, or whatever your situation is. It is really a time where we're being asked, is this the right direction? And if it is, does it work properly? Does it function properly? If it is, then we need to commit and put 100% into it and then move forward. So, which can be a little bit frustrating with everything that's going on, but I think if something is working, if something is aligned with you, then it's quite easy to commit to something. It's quite easy to push through the tests of Saturn at this new moon, but that will all fall down to what you've going on and what area of life this is falling into. So you want to have a look at what house Gemini is for you. Now also, with all this Gemini activity, we can have our minds going like, I have a lot of Gemini in my chart, so for me, it's, I'm used to my mind, like, you know, being in two minds all the time and my mind going a million miles an hour, but it is a period of time where, you know, people get a bit of a scatterbrain, and it's really good to, you know, use that mental energy in a physical way, and especially outdoors, like going and exercising outdoors. Something that I do a lot is like, I literally just go and sit in my room, like in the dark, and just de-stress, desensitize. And that's something that we need to do when we've got this big pile up of planets in Gemini, is to just, you know, be calm, find a place to be calm and settle our mind. What was that, Craig? Definitely draw you a card. Let me see what the Gemini new moon has for me. Well, hopefully only good things, Greg. Hopefully only good things. Okay, so what else have we got here? Oh yeah, I've been studying Italian language for the last 2 weeks. I've been using Duolingo. I don't know if any of you guys have used Duolingo to learn a language, but it's actually really good. Like, I'm dyslexic, so it's very difficult for me to learn things, like especially when it comes to, like, you know, writing and things like that. But Duolingo is great. Like, there's all these games, there's all these visuals, there's, you know, like you get to speak the words as well as write them, and, you know, it's English and Italian, and it's just amazing. Because I signed up for an Italian class, was it last year, and it was terrible. I literally quit after the first lesson. But like, now I've been doing it for 2 weeks, this Duolingo app, and I'm like gold. Like, I'm #1. Like, I'm like the fastest learner and got the most points. So I don't know if anyone else is using Duolingo, but absolutely amazing. On other news, there's also something I also want to talk about, which is spiritual attacks and our devices. Now, I did post something about this on my Facebook page, but with Neptune at the final degree, it's at 29 degrees and 45 minutes. It's like Neptune and the warrior. It's like we're going to see people standing up and being that spiritual warrior, and we're also going to be seeing a lot more spiritual attacks. And, you know, our devices, you know, like the Wi-Fi and our devices, you know, are also programmed to attack us as well. Like, in the sense of, you know, like there's things, they just program that energy for you to be frustrated and, you know, take it out on people that are close to you, you know, like, and this also happens energetically and spiritually as well. We can meet people that we really align with and that we would accomplish great things if, you know, when we work together, but it's also like there are those forces that don't want you to evolve, that don't want you to help humanity, that, you know, want you to stay stuck at the level that you're at. So, you know, they cause conflict. So you have issues with that person, or you fight with that person, or you have these feelings of hate towards somebody, you know. So there's going to be that ramping up more next year. But I feel like with Neptune at the very, very last degrees, you know, we're really kind of feeling those spiritual attacks coming about. Like, maybe a lot of people don't recognize it, but just have a think about how you feel about the people in your lives. Like, out of nowhere, are you feeling like really frustrated with people and feeling like they're against you and people are attacking you? And if you are feeling like that, really reflect on that. And where is it coming from? Is it coming from you, or is it coming from something externally? And really pay attention to what you're watching. You know, there's so much garbage, you know, on the TV or on the internet or on social media, you know, all this stuff about cheating and all these things about people fucking people over and blah, blah, blah. And that's what we're ingesting. You know, we're ingesting all these toxic behaviors of humanity. So just be mindful that if you do feel yourself turning against someone for really no reason at all, just feeling like you have to, someone's attacking you, or you have to protect yourself, or something like that, you're feeling bad feelings towards someone and getting really frustrated with people for no reason, just keep that in mind, that, you know, there are forces around that don't want you to move to the next level, that don't want you to evolve, that don't want you to connect to like-minded souls, to, you know, help this planet grow. So I think that's something that's really important that needs to be addressed. Also, the weird thing that happened in Sydney, was it yesterday? Because obviously there's all like the cloud seeding and the weather modifications. And yesterday on the news, there's this big cloud that was like a roll going through the sky. And everyone's literally just like, oh my God, I wish they would stop modifying the weather. But then, of course, the news companies, you know, put it on the news saying this cloud roll happened, and yeah, it's common. So, and everyone's just like, no, it's not common, you know, like, just stop with modifying the weather. But yeah, there's a lot of craziness happening in the world, but yes, a lot of weather modification going on in Australia. Like, we hardly see the sun at the moment. Like, the last few days has just been all these weird, even over summer, there was just all these just weird clouds, like smog formation, which never happens here. Like, this year's probably been the worst of all for you know, weather seeding here. Also, I've got some latest goss on my family history. Now, I was talking about how my great-great-grandfather came from Italy and came to Australia. Now, I was talking about how his wife's mother was murdered and chopped into pieces and then put in bleach and then found in the yard. Well, there's a whole can of worms connected to that. So this lady, Sarah France, that married my great-great-grandfather, she was actually from England, actually. So she wasn't even Australian. And so her mother was chopped into pieces and died when she was 7 years old. And it turned out that it was her father that did that. And also her 3-year-old brother was burnt to death, and it was also her father that did that. His name was William France. And there was also another lady that William France burnt to death before he married Sarah France. So I'm just like in absolute shock at like all these things that I'm finding out about my family. Like, obviously it's like 4 generations ago, but it's just like frightening, like absolutely frightening. And on all the police records, it says that the police officer that attended the scene was a friend of William France, and they both wrote the statement or the final form for the deaths, and it's just like, oh my God. So yeah, like I can see, like I always felt like I had ancestral trauma in my family, and I'm the one who's kind of dealing with it all. But now it's just confirmation that, yeah, oh my God, craziness, absolute craziness. Alrighty, so cards for the week. Now, I've got two sacred geometry cards, and one is empowerment and the other one is releasing. So it is a time where we need to release the past and be empowered with the new direction that we're going. Even though we might feel like we've got roadblocks at the moment, things aren't working out, there's a lot of tension and frustration, still just keep being that empowered being. You know, we went through all those aspects during the eclipses, which is about going your own way, doing what's best for you. And then those aspects through Taurus, we know we have that Uranus-Jupiter conjunction, which is about self-love, self-value, you know, like doing self, you know, preservation, self-worth, like really like looking at what you deserve and going your own way. And if that means having to leave situations, employment, work, friendships, relationships, whatever it might be at this time, that's what that Saturn squaring this new moon is saying. It's like, is it the right thing for you? What have you learnt during this period of time of honoring yourself, of honoring your self-worth? So be empowered and release the past. And I've also got shine, which kind of goes part and parcel with empowerment, which is just to shine your light. This is a time of Gemini. Share information, connect to new people. Like, it's just a time to shine where you are skilled, you know. And also I've got the 2 of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, which is pretty much just like when you make a decision, you know, and it's the Pentacles are like our reality, our 3D reality, and it's also, you know, can represent our relationships and our money. So it's just like when you make the decision of what is best for you, and you know, what makes you fulfilled, because there is water in the background. What makes you emotionally fulfilled? When we make the decision to choose what's best for ourselves, then we get the 9 of Pentacles. You know, we have that independence and we have that support from the universe, and you probably find that you will flourish financially and, you know, like externally when you do choose yourself, because when you choose yourself, other people choose you, you know. So everybody's a mirror, you know. Same with money. Like, when you believe that you deserve money, when you do the right thing for yourself, when you choose you, everything else chooses you. Hey Rodney, how you going? Okay, Greg, card for you. You moon. I don't know what you need to know. Maybe it's love life, maybe it's financial, maybe it's a new business endeavor, who knows? Oh, Saturn is in full force today, not even a card. Oh, there we go. Okay. Okay, Greg, we've got Pen, which is the devil. We've got Strength, the Hanged Man, and we've got the Page of Pentacles. Now, if I look at all this, I would say it's really about letting go of old hang-ups, old trauma, old ways of believing things, and having the strength to just be in the unknown even, you know, like giving yourself time to figure things out, you know, like with that square to Saturn, it's just like figuring out what really works for you, and then moving forward Maybe it's a new business or something. Maybe you're wanting to go out on your own. I'm not quite sure. But I just feel like there's something that you need to have strength and time out about. So you can let go of whatever the past situation was. Maybe it was a toxic situation with your employment. I don't know. But there's something going on here where there's a not so good environment where you need the strength to consider what's best for you to move in a new direction. Anyway, that's it for me. I think that's pretty much it for my video today. Yeah, that's pretty much it. But anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. I think it's going to be a beautiful new moon. It might be a little bit frustrating. You know, you might have to deal with some setbacks. Saturn is a wise one. He's a great teacher, business-wise. I just let go of a client after 12 years. Oh, congratulations. No more dealing with rubbish, I think. It's really a time just to choose yourself and what's best for you and what's aligned with you. And what I always believe is the money always comes. When you take that leap of faith, when you choose yourself, the money always comes. Even whether it's the 11th hour or straight away or whatever it is, things just align and fall into place and open up new avenues or people coming in or money coming in or jobs or whatever it is. But I'm really glad you ended that situation after 12 years. But yeah, I think it's going to be a great new moon. There's so much positive energy. I just think we're being asked to take a check, like really have a look at, is it exactly what we want? Let's have a moment to go over that blueprint again, or have a look in on the map, or you know, whatever it is, reassessing our next step just to make sure it's what we want to commit to, you know, make sure that it's what's best for us. But anyway, guys, I hope you have a fantastic new moon in Gemini, and I'll see you next week. Bye.